Thank you, Thad. I believe Macy, you're up next.
All right, thank you, Derek. Hi, everyone. My name is Macy Kingren, and I'm serving as the Section 17 president this year. We are so excited to have you all in the Leadership Development Committee, and we can't wait to hear all of your ideas for our group.
Thank you, ma'am. Jackson, would you like to introduce yourself? Hey, Jackson, you might try that again. We couldn't hear you on our end. Still nothing, Jackson. I'll tell you what, we'll come back to you in a minute, Jackson, and see if you can get it straightened out. Madeline, could you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Madeline Brummer and I'm serving as the Section 20 president this year.
Gotcha. Thank you, Madeline. Jackson said he has some spotty Wi-Fi, so he might not be able to introduce himself. So Jackson over there, who was trying to introduce himself, is the Section 18 president. He also joins us on the Leadership Development Committee. So thank you, Jackson. Let's see here. I believe that is all of the section presidents that we have on this committee. So I'm going to go ahead and go in alphabetical order as my participants list shows, and we'll go ahead and introduce ourselves. So it looks like Ethan.
Hi everyone, my name is Ethan Prest and I am a Marissa FFA member. And a little known fact about me is that I love to draw. See right here, I drew this today, along with other things, which I won't be showing today. And I just love having a good time. And I also love to act.
All right, thank you so much, Ethan. That was a pretty sweet drawing. I definitely do not have that talent, so props to you. Let's see, Jory Van Dyke.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jory Van Dyke, and I am the Section 23 treasurer, and I am from the Only FFA chapter.
Excellent, thank you. Kaylee Gerlach.
Hi guys, my name is Kaylee Gerlach and I'm from the Lincolnwood FFA chapter and I'm currently serving as the Section 15 reporter.
Thank you, Kaylee. Lainey Malloy.
Hello, I'm Lainey Malloy and I'm part of the normal FFA.
Excellent, thank you. Mila Anderson, did I say that correctly?
Hi guys, I'm Mila Anderson and I am a member of the Hillsborough FFA chapter. It's very nice meeting you guys.
Thank you so much. Paris.
Hello, my name's Paris Van Dyke and I'm from the North Clay FFA chapter and I'm currently serving as the Section 23 vice president.
Excellent, thank you, Paris. Riley.
Hi, I am the reporter for Trico FFA chapter.
Excellent. And Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm from the Roanoke Benson FFA chapter.
Excellent. Thank you all so much. It looks like we have some new faces on here that I haven't seen before. So welcome to you guys, and to our faces who have been on here before. Welcome back. So excited to have you all back again. So like I kind of mentioned earlier in the large group, we're going to kind of take a step aside tonight from our kind of big work, which was our Google Classroom or other material talk. We'll get back to that towards the end of our meeting tonight. But we're going to kind of start with some convention breakdowns. So a lot of us are fresh off of National Convention. And if we weren't out at National Convention, that is perfectly okay. But kind of what we were wanting is the members' views on how National Convention went. things we liked and things that we might like to implement in our state convention, or things that we didn't like that we want to say, no, let's kind of stay away from that. So the discussion is just kind of open to whoever wants to throw stuff in. I'm going to be taking some notes on a Google Doc and trying to kind of keep up with those. So like I said, whatever good, bad, or otherwise you guys have about national convention, what you saw there, or what you want state convention to look like in general, be more than happy to have those. So I'll go ahead and open up the floor for discussion. Well, it looks like it's awkward silence time. So let's see, raise our hands like via Zoom if we did attend national convention. Okay, you guys can go ahead and put those down. So it looks like a fair amount of us in here did attend national conventions. So to you guys, what sessions did you attend, or what did you like best about convention? And if you don't want to say it out loud, please feel free to drop it in the chat too. Thad says, definitely try to bring the energy, hype, dancing from national conventions to state convention. Riley attended the opening session on Thursday. So Riley, what did you think of that opening session? I know that we as majors talked a little bit about what they did there and had kind of some thoughts of our own on it. But please feel free to share what you liked or disliked about it. Liked the speaker? Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
I attended the opening session and I thought it was really cool. And the speaker was really nice to learn from. And I also liked all the songs and the choir. So I definitely enjoyed my time.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for that feedback. I'll go ahead and throw that on my Google Doc here.
I personally liked how they made such a big deal about the countdown to when it actually started, and the dancing before 30 minutes before we actually started the session was really nice, and the guest speakers, I thought that also motivated a lot of kids to do more in FFA.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So something that the other state officers and I have talked about a little bit was their little thing at the beginning of the opening sessions where they did, let me think about how to explain it, how they all had their speaking part before they actually did opening ceremonies. And then they did all their speaking parts and finally came together in that circle and were kind of speaking, kind of bouncing off of each other. So we talked about the merits of doing that or not doing that. So I was kind of curious about what your guys' opinions were about that. If you'd like to see something like that, or if you just like to see us kind of jump right into opening ceremonies, and maybe if we did something like that, incorporate it after opening ceremonies.
Derek, personally, I really liked when they did that. I think that if the message is given properly and there's messages put into each of the sessions, if you're wanting to do that, would look awesome. But I think it's also a reflective and kind of a moment for students to focus in. And then once they have their focus and you have their attention, then it's going to be easier for them to stay engaged in the session through opening ceremonies.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Macy. So we've kind of hit on national convention a little bit. Oh, have a couple more things in the chat. Sarah says she liked the speaker, just wish it was someone from an agricultural background. And Riley said she liked how they eased into the topic of the speaker during the opening ceremony. Okay, excellent points. So we've kind of talked about national convention a little bit. So did any of you guys, let me ask this, let's do another hand raise so I can see who all attended state convention this past year or another year if you have been to state convention in person. Okay, there's another fair amount of us in here who have attended state convention. You go ahead and put those hands down once again. So again, kind of the purpose of this is leading into convention planning, which we will be starting even in mid-December. We're trying to get some ideas of what we liked and didn't like. So those of us who attended state convention, let's ask this first. What would we keep the same, or what did we really like about state convention? I said she liked when the officers talked about their stories before and in FFA. Okay, I'll put that down for sure. What did we maybe dislike about state convention, or what would we like to see changed in the future? Sarah says she wishes there was a little bit more hype like at national convention. Okay, and more involvement for the audience. Gotcha. We'll definitely be thinking of things to bring that hype and that audience involvement.
Maybe splitting the state degree session into two. So I know a lot of students lose their engagement throughout that session. And kind of same with the American degree. It's not as bad as national convention because you're not sitting there for 4.5 hours.
Yep.
But I think that would help a lot. And maybe still have them in the same day. I think it would help family members be able to attend for their student that's receiving it.
Yeah, I definitely see that. And we've talked about that too, kind of extending off of that point with like our proficiency winners and stuff, because if you do just a whole session that is, you do all your proficiency winners there, A, that takes a really long time, but B, the people who are there, all they're getting is proficiencies. So we've kind of talked about ways to do a little taste of everything during the sessions to make sure that we're getting kind of going back to that audience engagement, keeping them engaged, not like droning on too long with the same thing over and over, and kind of allowing them to see a little piece of everything at State Convention. So yeah, thank you so much for that point. Let me type that down and then I'll read the chat real quick. I'm trying to type as fast as I can. All right, Paris says she thinks we should have more social interactive time at State Convention. Paris, could you expand on that just a little bit as to what you mean? And Jory says the behind the stage lineup at Nationals was a bit smoother and a bit faster. It wasn't super confusing to get lined up at first. Yeah, I totally agree that we could use some ironing out there, Jory. That's actually something that we talked about right after convention with our friends who work backstage, and they've given us some suggestions to make that move a little bit smoothly. So any of our friends in here who are backstage during convention, please take some notes and let us know how it goes so we can see if we did any better on that or if there's still some work to be done after this convention. But I'll go ahead and throw that in the notes so we are sure to keep that in mind.
Hey, Derek. To go
Yeah,
off
Madeline.
to go off that idea, could we get like more TVs backstage too? Would that be
You
possible?
mean in places like maybe where the line is really long so you can actually kind of see what's going on?
Yes.
what you're talking?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I will definitely put that down.
Thanks.
What else do we have regarding state or national convention?
I would just make sure, like last year we got like a little pamphlet that had pretty much all the awards in it. Being a reporter, it really helped know who got what and the official titles of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Making sure that we have that. I think that pamphlet is a tradition, so I'm pretty sure it'll be sticking around, but I will add that it is useful. Is there any, or are there, excuse me, grammar, are there any last things about convention, state or national that we want to add before we move on to our next thing? Okay, it's not looking like it. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next thing, which isn't really anything major, but it's definitely something that we would like for you guys to do. Oh, here's Paris. All right. In past years, we've had the dance as a social time. I think it'd be cool to see a new activity in place of that. Okay, for sure. I'll put that down, Paris, and maybe we can do some brainstorming and see if there's something we could come up with. All right, excellent. Anything else from conventions? Okay, well, if there is, just go ahead and throw it in the chat and we'll be sure to get to it. So our next thing in the fall, one of our main conferences that we have is Build Conference, which is held at ISU. That is traditionally for our junior and senior FFA members. And then in the spring, our main conferences there are our Ground Zero conferences, which last year they were held at, I believe, Western Illinois University, Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, and the U of I at Urbana-Champaign. So if any of you guys attend any of these conferences, just kind of maybe make some notes of what you like or dislike, or what you thought went really well, or something that really stood out to you, because we're always looking for ways to better engage with our members and make their experiences at these better. So just kind of keep an eye out for, like I said, for anything that can be improved upon or anything that you really like. And that being said, I don't know if anybody in here attended Build or Ground Zero last year, but I'll just give us a few seconds if we thought anything was good, or if we thought there was anything that needed to be improved upon, if we remember at this point. Go ahead and throw that in the chat, and I'll be sure to type that in too. Riley says make Ground Zero longer. Okay. Speaking of making conferences longer, actually, so last year Build Conference was a one-day conference with 2 different groups, but this year it has gone back to its original format, which is a 2-day conference with everybody coming at the same time. So for those who had Build last year, we are making that change going into this year, just as a thought. Give us just a few more seconds if there are any thoughts on any conferences that we've attended. Maybe it's even a STAR conference for our section officers, or anything we've been to that we have any comments on.
I think the little binder books that we got at STAR Conference really helped. Not only remembering stuff, but also being able to provide that to other students. Like in my workshop, I used it, and I think it really helped to spread the word about that.
Absolutely. I think those binders are a huge help as well, Kaylee. I know I still have mine from my very first year at STAR Conference, which was 4 years ago, I guess, making myself feel old. But I still turn back to it from time to time to get ideas or see what I wrote, or maybe work on workshops. So yeah, absolutely. Those binders are something we love doing each year for STAR Conference. Well, I'm not really seeing anything pop up in the chat from our conferences, so I'll go ahead and we'll move on. So kind of the last big ticket item I have for us to talk about tonight is we've talked a lot in this committee about getting leadership materials or materials for LDEs, CDEs, whatever it may be, into the hands of our members. We talked about that in the form of a Google Classroom. So I was talking to, oh, we have 2 minutes, so I'll make this quick. I was talking to Mrs. Bunselmeyer and Mr. Edgar about the possibility of a Google Classroom, and they said that it would be easier logistically to do a Google folder that we could share with any member who would like to have it, and maybe that gets sent out in a listserv or whatever. So my plan is, if anybody has materials that they would like to be added or ideas for materials, just go ahead and I'll shoot my email in the chat. So go ahead and email me whenever with these materials, and I'll try to throw a Google, or I will throw a Google folder together. Sorry, trying to type and talk at the same time, and I'm not a great multitasker. Okay, so there is my email. It's vicepresident@illinoisffa.org. So like I said, go ahead and shoot me any ideas that you have for these Google folders. And I will get that put together, and maybe by our January meeting, we can go over it, look over it, see if there's anything else we want to add, and we can get that beginning going into the hands of the members for anybody who would like to have that. So thank you guys for your ideas, both with that, the Google Classroom /folder, I'll kind of transition into calling it the Google folder, and as well as for your ideas on convention and our conferences. So one last thing, we have just a few seconds left before we have to leave the breakout room. So if I can get really quick to I'm going to go ahead and throw a link in the chat here to sign up for a crew